Session 3, Matt, is about loving completely.
Completely loving, yes.
Love completely.
And so what does this section look like this week, Jason?
Well, in the love section of Love Completely, we got a few icebreaker questions again.
Yep.
The first couple ones are kind of light and easy. The third one gets a little deeper about some real relationship questions.
That's good. This week's DVD is equally as long as the other week's, 22 minutes long. But I think it's definitely something for you to look at as a leader, because there's a really good testimony at the end, and would suggest maybe even forwarding to that point in the DVD, letting your group watch it. It's actually pretty strong. The testimony itself is maybe 5 to 7 minutes of the DVD, so it's worth looking at.
Yeah, the testimony parts are very good in that one. The question 2 refers to one of those. Question 3 refers to one of those. On 4, what they did was they attached kind of a short film at the end of the DVD session. And I say, if you're crunching on time, skip that section.
Although the video quality in the short film at the end is probably the best video quality you'll find on the whole DVD, but we're not about quality, we're about quantity, right?
I have no idea what you're talking about. Okay.
Okay.
So how about
I'm joking.
How about the learn section?
The learn section, all these were actually pretty good, jumping into the Word. We go from the John passage focusing on love to forgiveness, and then at the end to resolving conflict. All 3 of these are really big in loving passionately. So I would say if you have time, at least read through those verses, and maybe not spend a ton of time talking about the verses until you start handling some of the questions in the live section, and then maybe that will give you some fuel for your conversation.
Fuel for the fire of love.
Yes. Comes from the Word of God. Go figure.
In the live section, once again, I think there's a lot of really good stuff in there. I'm going to try and concentrate a lot of your time in that section. One is, who in your life is difficult for you to love. Another is identify a relationship that needs to be identify a relationship that needs to be reconciled. Once again, and then how do you handle relational conflict?
I would say if you're in a group that has is comprised of mostly married couples, this would be a really good one to talk about, even though it might seem awkward. Because if you're married, you know that there is relational conflict.
Really?
And we don't want to talk about that, but that's a reality of life. And hopefully your spouse is the person, short of Jesus, that you love most passionately. But for many of us, it's not. So I would challenge you, especially if you're in a group with married folks, to do that. What about the leave section this time, Jason?
I thought it was a good one. I think it'll be really difficult. What they suggest is to think of somebody you need to be reconciled with and write a letter, either asking forgiveness or forgiving them for something. This could be a pretty big deal in somebody's life, but that's the whole concept here. If you had 1 month to live, what very serious things would you do? And that's one of them. So it'll be difficult, but very good.
It could be awesome. I would say as a group leader, we don't want to know all the details of what's going on, but if you have somebody actually do this and hear some good things on the other side of it, we would love to share with other group leaders and just with our staff and our church some of the good things that are going on. So we don't have to have all the details, but if something like this happens in your group, we want to know. So please celebrate that with us. Don't just share it for sharing's sake, but we really want to celebrate that. So
share the love.
Share the love.
Share